Hey guys, today I come to you with a double chapter review of Gintama, which consists of chapters 613 and 614. And we kind of went back to the days when Gintama was so hilarious due to its, very much dirty jokes in these two chapters. Of course, a few weeks ago we dealt with the Shinzengumi, but these two chapters kind of made us relive those moments before everything got serious. But of course, Gintama is not Gintama without these type of jokes being implemented into the story. So of course, remember back in 612, to start off with 613, 612, they ended off the chapter where Prince Hata was being used as hostage by Katsura, because now we see in chapter 613 Katsuo was using Prince Hata as a hostage because he wants him to tell his people to make an alliance with Earth's army. Because what Katsuo is trying to plan is that if he uses Prince Hata and he makes Prince Hata tell his army, his people, to make an alliance with Earth, they will be able to drive out the Liberation Army. That was the whole point of him using Prince Hata, because Prince Hata, as we know, or Baka Prince, the Prince Baka, he is known for loving animals. And when he was gathering all the endangered species, he gathered up Katsura and Hasagawa into his collection, not knowing that these guys will, try to use him to their advantage. Now, we kind of got a backstory on Prince Hata, something that we would have never expected into the series because we always took him as like a side joke. But I guess he's also going to be very pivotal, very important for this impending war, the war that is just really happening right now. So he is a prince of a distant planet, Uchokuku, something like of that sort. And at one point, the antenna, they call it a chinko. If you know the Japanese definition of that, only Gintama is capable of doing this and making it serious, making it actually count. But in his kingdom, when he was younger, he was actually very attractive looking when he was younger. He is the youngest son out of three because they're the planet that he lived on, their government was a monarchy. So his father at one point was very sick, and he was, there was a turmoil between two sides of the country. One that was for the Chinkos and one that was for the modest one, because the brother that was actually shown in chapter 613 is actually someone that was part of the Liberation Army but changed his side. I'm going to get into that in a little bit soon. So before the king died, he was hoping that the two fractions that was in the kingdom would come together for the sake of picking the proper king for their planet, because one side was for Prince Hata because he had a big and I'm gonna say antenna. He had a big antenna, and the other side was for his older brother. Even though he had a smaller one, but because he had the tactics and the leadership to become a good leader, they were for him. Of course, they had an older brother who died in war. Well, everybody thought he died in war because he was such a great leader. He had everything that these two brothers had and more, and also the big antenna. But they said he died in war, so now it was left up to these two brothers. And from a very young age, Prince Hata always had a love for animals, but you never really seen him have a love for humans. Of course, the father did die, and he picked his youngest son because he had the biggest antenna, and of course they were still against it. And like I said, it goes back to where Katsura is now using him in hopes that they will form an alliance. He's trying to force an alliance between these two, in hopes that planet Earth will be saved from the Liberation Army. Of course, we find out that the big brother was actually Shikaku. He was the big brother that they all thought was dead. Not the first brother, but the second oldest brother. And he was the one that, he decided to remove himself from the kingdom to ensure that Prince Hata would take over. But Prince Hata never really took over the kingdom. He always remained a prince. Now we get into chapter 614, where it just, we thought it was bad with the Chinko, the antennas in chapter 613. But now getting to chapter 614 is something we would have never expected. And I think this actually gives us the reason behind Elizabeth's true nature. Okay, we finally find out who Elizabeth really is. Now, Elizabeth has shown very early in the series along with Katsura, and we always knew Elizabeth as Katsura's pet. Now, we did not know if Elizabeth was a human, an alien, whatever was underneath Elizabeth. Then we later find out it was an Amanto, but we did not know Elizabeth's true identity. So we always assume it's Katsura's like right hand, best friend, pet, whatever we would have thought Elizabeth to be. It came to find out that Elizabeth is actually the first prince, Dragonia, of Prince Hata's home planet. It's just that when they said he supposedly died, but he was actually gravely injured, and then he was picked up by the people that look like Elizabeth, like the species that look like Elizabeth, and they opened up their arms to him and brought them into their home planet and such. And from there on, he says he doesn't have much memories of what's going on. Of course, he now has such an appearance that is coming in from between Elizabeth's legs, and they say it's like it was supposed to represent a nine-headed dragon, which is to basically the parody or making fun of Ru Ryoin Kenshin's technique. They were poking fun at that. So he doesn't actually have a form. If you want to say he looks like a nine-headed Chinko, like we don't know. It's only in Gintama they do something like this, where they throw in the slapstick comedy and parodies, poking fun at others, and the very dirty jokes, but at the same time taking itself seriously. And reading that chapter, especially 614, I was like, what the hell is going on right now? We're in war right now. We're in negotiations, and they're talking about the lower half of a man's body. He doesn't have a proper form anymore. So we come out to find that Dragonia is still alive, and he's not going to take over the kingdom anymore, because he says if you can bring both the youngest brother and the oldest brother together, they can form a country and make an alliance, and they can rebuild I'm saying country, rebuild back the planet and make it into a strong place. But for the time being, do aid the humans, because at this point they're the only planet that's very lonely. They don't have anyone that can back them up, and it's a matter of do or die for everyone. So while the chapter was very Gintama-ish in the sense of the comedy, it left off where it was basically about like a little bit about politics, the background story of the brothers from planet Uchoku, and how they're going to play a part in this war, and how they're going to help the humans on Earth and drive away the Liberation Army out of Earth, in hopes that they can destroy them and end them, and that will be it. So it was very funny, these two chapters, but like I said, you got to see the political side of it, and as well as now they gain alliances at the end of the day. So all the three brothers are back together again, and Earth has gathered an ally, so everything is looking good so far. Hopefully in the next chapter we'll see what is going on Earth, and like what the situation is back once again. But if you guys saw these two chapters, chapters 613 and 614, do drop a comment down below on how you felt about these two chapters. How do you feel about learning the background story of Prince Hata, and the true identity of Elizabeth, and will you still consider Elizabeth, or Prince Dragonia? The links are in the description box as always, so you guys go check that out. And I'm Kimmy Chan of Anime Legends Podcast, and I will see you guys later. Bye.